when you're doing the CELPIP exam, there are times when you are not able to think about what next to say, and there are some things that people do, right? So in speaking, it's not only for CELPIP, it's also for general life. When we're speaking, we are going to say a few ums. I do that a lot in my YouTube videos. It's natural. Everybody does it. In fact, if you don't do it, it's kind of awkward because native speakers do say a lot of ums, a lot of ums. But CELPIP, for some reason, thinks that that is not natural, and if you do too much of ums, it's incorrect. Well, CELPIP is not the only one to blame. Most exams do that, and especially when they're assessing speaking. That's where they want us to be perfect. They say you can have a lot of things instead of ums, and today we're going to discuss what those things are. So let's get right to the point. The first thing, the easiest thing you can do is pause instead of saying ums. Now, I am saying this is the easiest thing to do, but it doesn't come automatically. It comes with a lot of practice. And the older you are, the more difficult it'll be for you to learn this. The simple reason being, you have a habit, 30 years, 40 years, a habit of saying and speaking the way you have been speaking. So that's not going to change overnight. It's a very long habit that's going to take a long time to improve. However, all you got to do is speak more and more in front of a mirror or with friends, or you take our training and speak with our teachers. That's where you practice. Instead of saying all you got to do is pause. Does it sound awkward? Well, let's check. Let's do an experiment sentence. Okay, so a sentence, for example, is I'm suggesting something to my friend. I want you to be really successful in life, and it will really help you in achieving success. I think this is awkward. Let me now replace my ums with pauses. I want you to be really successful in life, and I think it's going to help you in achieving more and more success for all sorts of outcomes. Doesn't matter if the sentence made sense or not, but the thing here is the tone. If you see how I paused, I didn't pause in very awkward places. I paused when I made a little point, a few phrases, a few words were said at the same time, and then I paused enough to give myself some time to think, and also give the listener some time to digest. This is, if you know this is something that one of the greatest public speakers of all time, Barack Obama, does, right? We all know how he speaks, and that's how, with his words, with his passion, with his charisma, he won at the elections twice, right? So this shows that when you are really confident and when you are in control of what you're saying, you won't say ums that much. You will actually pause more. This is something that we teach in our lessons. This is something that Toastmasters, the biggest public speaking forum in the world, teaches. I took lots of Toastmaster classes. That's what they mainly teach, pausing. And this is what public speakers do. If you look at the very best, Barack Obama is just one example, but every famous public speaker does that. Name any good public speaker that goes to the stage and says the whole time. There is none. There is none. So that's the thing. With CELPIP, they also expect us to be that supreme level of public speaking, which, is not natural. It's not the daily conversations we have with people, but that's what you got to deliver because it's an English exam. So pausing technique is really important. But there are times when you ask yourself, how long can you pause, right? Like if I'm thinking about a second point. So for example, I'm doing that first question where I have to do firstly, secondly, thirdly, and I'm thinking of my second point and I can't really come up with something. So this is the best place for people to say But if you need a lot of seconds to think about this point, you're gonna say it's like you're meditating, right? Like you're doing yoga. So it cannot be a long What you can do is insert some good connectors. Okay, this is strategy number 2, guys. Connectors. Now, I said firstly, do this, blah, blah, blah. Secondly, you can do whatever. So secondly itself is a connector. But if you need a longer connector, because you just need some time to think, you can say on top of that, apart from that, other than that. Okay, these are long connectors, like on the other hand, on the one hand. All these connectors, if you take these long ones, this will give you some more thinking time. And again, you wouldn't have to or pause for a long time. You're still speaking and you still have that fluency going on. Remember, there is a mark for fluency. So you want to keep a good flow. It should be a good combination of pauses and a good combination of connecting words, because we all will need the thinking time. However, still, we are slow. Okay, a lot of us are slow, and we need to think. When I make these YouTube videos, it's no secret, not for me, for anybody else, that a lot of times as a YouTuber, I'm making mistakes, and sometimes it sucks. You know, I make a 20-minute long video, and at the 18th minute, I'm making so many pauses because I'm thinking, and I stop the video and I edit it again, I change the whole video again. So it takes up so much of my time, but I gotta deliver quality content. But what I'm saying is, with all my public speaking experience and the way I coach people, I still make mistakes. So it's very natural for any student who's learning and has English as a second language to have that extra need for thinking time. But in CELPIP, the clock is ticking. So here's another thing you can do. This is strategy number 3. Okay. Now you say, on the other hand, you still need thinking time. Add some words like, let me give you some examples. On the other hand, I still think it is very important to. Another example is, on the other hand, it is very significant to note that. Another example, on the other hand, it is commonly seen that, or it is commonly observed that. Now, if you want to make it more personable, you can say, on the other hand, if you really want to trust my advice, then do whatever. Another example, on the other hand, I really believe that it is highly crucial for you to, and then add something. Now, by this time, at this point, you have utilized your pauses, your long connectors, on the other hand, apart from that, and so on. And now you're adding a bunch of phrases as well, like, if you listen to me, I would suggest whatever. So up to this point, you should be able to think, and you should be able to come up with a point, because I don't want to give you any more filler sentences, because then the examiner will notice. Up to this point, they will not notice, I promise you that. You can use these connectors and these phrases very confidently. But that's going to buy you thinking time, and now it's your job to actually come up with a point. If at this point still you're unable to come up with a point and you're stuttering, you're saying and you're thinking what to do, and people freeze, in the exams people freeze, and that's where they lose all the marks because they cannot think. That means it's not an English problem anymore. You probably cannot think of the point in your language as well. And then you need to practice some brainstorming. So this is a bonus tip outside of the 3 strategies. For brainstorming, you can actually type on YouTube, 8-Set Education Brainstorming. You'll see my video where I mention how to do this. But at home, just to give you a summary of it, at home, when you see these CELPIP topics on, giving suggestions or convincing someone about something, whatever topics you see, you don't need to speak every time. Just brainstorm, okay? So imagine the question is saying, you see this at home when you're practicing. The question says, suggest to your friend that he should use a taxi instead of a bus when he goes to work. So make 3 points in the exam, but at home, make 10 points, okay? Make 10 points for choosing a taxi, and then choose the other side as well, which was bus, right? So now make 10 points on why he should bus. When you think this much, 10 and 10 points, you just need 3, but what you're doing is you're training your mind for a really difficult task. So once you actually go in the exam and do just 3, your thinking will be on point. And that's our training philosophy. Even when we train our students in our classes, we give them the hard material, we give them less time than the actual exam, and we do exercises like these, which you can do on your own. Brainstorm with way more points than you need, like 3 times more. You need 3 points in the exam, practice 9 or 10 points. And once you do, your mind will be able to relate to any topic fast, it'll be able to think fast, and with that, plus with the 3 strategies I've mentioned, there should be no reason why you go in the exam and say and there should be no reason why you lose that mark for fluency, which is very important. Not only for CELPIP, guys, all these strategies can be used for daily communication and conversation, and by doing this, you will sound more confident, professional, in control, and you will sound like a public speaker. You see what I did there? I just cut the video right now and I wanted to show you this, that I actually cut the video because I made a mistake. I was speaking and I screwed up something and I just deleted that, and now this is a new clip. What I wanted to show you guys is this is natural. For me, I make mistakes, and I can get away with it because I'm on YouTube and I have an editing software. I can also get away with it when I'm speaking to friends, because with friends we don't really care. we cannot get away with it when we're doing the CELPIP exam. So that's where these tips can be used, and that's where we can improve our mistakes, which naturally as humans we make, but are unfortunately unacceptable for CELPIP. So guys, I hope this helps out. Please subscribe to my channel, share and like this video, especially if you have immigrant friends. Share with them what we're doing here. These tips can help them and can go a long way in helping them get immigration, along with getting great results on their exams and being really satisfied with their achievements, as the same with you guys. I hope this helps. Thank you, and we'll talk very soon.